Hey beauties, welcome to the Clean Beauty Podcast. Did you know that unlike most everything else in America, cosmetics are not regulated? This means that corporations can use thousands of potentially harmful ingredients that I personally know can cause health problems. I'm your host, Cassandra McClure. I've been in the beauty business for over 10 years as a celebrity makeup artist that advocates for safer and more sustainable cosmetics. Join me each week for important news, exclusive interviews, and more on the Clean Beauty Revolution.
Cassandra, it's lovely to be here. Thanks for having me on your podcast. It's really, lovely to talk to you today. Really been looking forward to it for a while, actually.
Yeah, and so you come from a pharmaceutical background, right?
Yes, I am a pharmacist by qualification and have worked in the drug development clinical trials arena for the past 23 years in the UK and globally as well.
Let's talk about the ethical sourcing of naturally tribal skincare and all things sustainable as well within your brand.
Absolutely. I mean, that is a standout for us, really, in terms of the ethical sourcing. You know what it's like when people talk about things being natural and clean and green. For us, it's slightly different. It's how we interpret that. We saw that the efficacy of our products lay in actually getting the natural ingredients from the source. So we are working and building a factory in the Kingdom of Esan in the northern part of Nigeria and Africa. We'll be employing these women who produce the shea butter used for our products. The ultimate goal is for customers out there to be able to pick up a jar of our products and be able to trace the main ingredients back to source. And hopefully, as time goes on, we'll be able to trace that back to the tree and who picked the nuts, etc., things like that. So for us, that is really, really important. And I refer to it as from source to jar, being able to know where your ingredients come from and it's sourced ethically and empowering women in the process.
That's awesome. How are you empowering these women?
Well, empowering women to me is not just about giving them jobs, it's about giving them confidence, independence, financial independence, for them to have the freedom to do, all the things that they dreamed of doing. So I'll give you an example. I think at the end of March, I was in the Kingdom of Esan and I had trained up to 400 women on health and safety. I had selected 5 women to be kind of like the supervisors to take that train the trainer approach. And I was a bit worried, to be honest. But just yesterday, those women went to a different community to also conduct health and safety training I had given them. And the feedback has been phenomenal. They were confident. So empowerment is not just about providing the jobs. It's about actually helping people realize the skills that they have internally.
That's awesome.
It is something really close to our hearts, that's for sure.
How long have you guys been around?
So Naturally Tribal Skincare kind of was born out of personal experience. I never intended to have a skincare company. After 4 cycles of IVF, and people know what it's like who've gone through IVF, being pumped with chemicals. Had my twins, 31st of March, 2014. And unfortunately, one of them was born with severe eczema, and I didn't want to kind of use chemicals, although I did use steroids to relieve his scratch till you bleed type thing. So I kind of reached out to nature. The mixing started in my kitchen, and complete fluke found the Eureka formula, and we officially launched in February 2017. With this formulation, it took 3 days for my son's skin, Joshua's skin, to be what it should have been from birth. And that was the birth of Naturally Tribal Skincare.
So does your son or both, you have 2 sons?
I have, the twins are boy and girl, so Amara and Joshua.
Oh, okay, that's awesome. So Joshua still struggles with these issues?
No, the Ayara body food, which is our hero product, really is the one that worked for Joshua. I use it on my children every single day. I use our women's body food, and his skin is well managed. It's not a cure for eczema. It just helps to manage the eczema. One of our customers has said to us that they're getting the same effect as 1% hydrocortisone cream, which is absolutely phenomenal to hear. So yeah, we use it every day on him. It's managed to keep the eczema at bay. It does flare up now and again, but at least I don't have to use steroids on my boy.
I love that you guys use glass bottles or glass jars. And is there a I mean, you have quite a few products, and you mentioned the hero product, but are you working on other things outside? Because I noticed there is a lot of baby and children products, which is really cool because that seems like your baseline. Um, but are there other things that are really popular right now with?
Oh, Oh, absolutely, absolutely, Cassandra. I think the company started with obviously me trying to find a solution for my boys. So the hero product is the one that solved just for a skincare problem, but it's not just for kids; it's for people with sensitive skin as well. What I then did was really thought about, well, what else is out there, tapping into my African roots that people in the Western world may not have heard of. Using shea butter as a base, today we have products for men, women, and children for the entire family. And we call them body foods because everything in them is food. Your skin is the largest organ in your body, and 60% of what we put on our skin gets absorbed into our skin. So what we put on our skin is as important as what we eat. So in the women's range, for example, we do the ER Women's Body Food, which again has shea butter as a base. In the glass jar, as you rightly mentioned, we're kind of environmentally friendly and conscious of our environment. So when you pick up any of our glass jars, not only do you feel that it's not plastic, so you're able to recycle the glass, you feel the luxury, you have access to a great product that works, but you're also empowering women in Africa in the process. So women's body food has amazing essential oils. So what I did there was try to use essential oils that have all those things that we as women look for. So things like geranium, which is a wrinkle reducer, clary sage for skin tightening, ylang ylang and its anti-inflammatory properties, apricot, which is a deep, wonderful hydrator and moisturizer, great for dark circles. So taking those kind of things into account and formulating our women's range. Our men's range is very similar. Men have up to 25% thicker skin than we do because of the collagen. So they can handle sort of stronger ingredients. So we use coconut oil, cinnamon, geranium, and nutmeg for our men's body food, again, to cater for their skin type. We do intimate oils for women, for after shaving, bikini area on the arm, legs, etc., and a beard and shave oil for men, and body scrubs. So we do have a great range for the entire family, which are all natural, vegan, and full of goodness.
This episode is proudly sponsored by lashbinder.com, a patent pending tool that I developed to be the quickest, easiest, and safest way to apply lashes on yourself and clients. If you've ever tried applying lashes, you either use your fingers, which is pretty hard to master, a pair of tweezers, which can be super scary, or you were lucky enough to have a friend like me help you. Those days are long gone with Lash Binder, an applicator that'll have you looking fabulous in under a minute. Are you ready to say goodbye to expensive, damaging, and time-consuming lash extensions? Or hours spent in the mirror applying makeup? Don't you wish you could apply lashes easy and just go? Let your skin glow and your confidence skyrocket with the perfect pair of lashes applied with Lash Binder. Lash Binder is truly the lash tool you'll ever need. Be the first to get your hands on one today, exclusively at lashbinder.com. Be sure to find us on Instagram at lashbinder, LASHBINDER. Links in the show notes. Happy lashing!
Like everything I've tried is like super duper hydrating, and it can be, I feel like anyone with oily skin, I don't know if you have certain things for people that already have, really oily or combo skin, but I do feel like, obviously the products are made for eczema, which is like severe dry flakiness, right? So it's I feel like these products, just so people know that haven't tried them, like these are great if you have really really dry skin. It's super hydrating and moisturizing, and it kind of leaves a film. Can you speak to the kind of film that it leaves on your skin and how you advise to use them?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, like I mentioned, the base of all our products is shea butter. Shea butter is one of the best moisturizers you have out there today. To me, it's like liquid gold. And the reason why is that you want your moisturizer to do three things. You want an emollient, a humectant, and an occlusive. So you want something that attracts moisture, locks in moisture, and is able to penetrate the levels of the different layers of the skin. And shea butter is one of the unique ingredients that does that. It is oily, absolutely. And yes, we formulated these products for people with dry skin, people who need to hydrate their skin, and also people who want to maintain great skin. My advice to people, a lot of people ask me about, can I use it on the face? It is very rich, like you say. You don't necessarily have to have extremely dry skin to use it, but if you do have pretty oily skin, then I would say that these products are not necessarily for you. It does absorb very nicely into the skin, and the skin just seems to eat it up. But if you have excessively oily skin, then they're certainly not for you. I mean, in the pipeline, we have things like our face serums, and in fact our bath essence and body wash will be coming out very soon for all skin types. So we are actually keeping different skin types and skin tones in mind as well.
Though in the drier types, which for me right now, the humidity is like been crazy in California, and I just got back from Palm Springs, and it's been like really my skin has just been going through a lot. So the products do help to soothe my skin, especially after like a hot dry like shower, and like it's just been. I usually don't have issues with my skin like being so dry that my fiance's like, "What's up with your skin?" But helped, and it's been nice to moisturize or shave with them because I'm not using the old shave products because they had fragrances and irritants that I didn't realize, and so they've definitely replaced a lot of the things I was using before, which has been nice. I love the shave. I mean, it can get caught up in the blade a little bit because of the shea butter. I think it's like it can be a little thick, so you kind of want something there to like rinse out the blade and like
Yeah.
with any thick shave cream, you kind of need to do something like that. But I like that you have the specialty, like because some brands that try to do everything for every different skin type aren't really specializing or concentrating on one area. And so I think anyone listening that's like super duper dry, like they should definitely go over and use that. But I am excited to hear about the body wash. Like I love body washes. I love trying different ones. So I can't wait to see how that turns out. So hope you put me first on the list to try that.
Absolutely, definitely, Cassandra. Definitely. I mean, it's part of the fun is really the thinking about the new products. We have about 30 formulations in our pipeline at the moment, and looking at the quirkiest ingredients and what we're going to use. I mean, a good example is our scrubs out there. We use the cola nut for our scrub. The African cola nut is a very spiritual nut. It increases blood circulation. It's been around for ages. And the bitter cola nut, again, is a very traditional African nut. And the millet body polish has obviously millet, which is gluten free. Again, it's ingredients that people wouldn't typically see in their scrub, but have such amazing properties for the skin. We don't want to be everything to everyone. We just want to actually, it's about well being, it's about being healthy, it's about repairing your skin using natural ingredients. And yeah, our body wash is coming soon, and I'll definitely put you first on that list.
Awesome. So, do you go? Is everything made by hand with from you? And how many people are on your team? How have you grown and scaled?
That's a really interesting question. Obviously, when we first started, it started in the kitchen, and now we have an amazing manufacturer who has helped us scale up and produces our products in larger quantities. They are still handmade, which is so unique. They're made with so much care and so much love, so they're still very much handmade. In terms of team, when I started this company, I was still working full time in corporate. So I've definitely still working that entrepreneurial journey. I left my full-time job in September last year. And when you start up a company, you kind of need the best people around you. But what I've also realized is that the people you start the journey with are not necessarily the people that you carry on or even end the journey with. So have a great team around me, from a marketing standpoint. My family, my husband is also part of the business, David. So we have a great team around me from a finance, marketing, sales. And I'm a bit of a control freak. I try to still have, my fingers in different pies, wanting to maintain that personal touch and quality.
Awesome, awesome. And so you have a facility that you're working out of.
Oh yes, I mean we have our office in a quirky little a town called Stony Stratford here in Milton Keynes, which is absolutely beautiful. And we have our contract manufacturer in Dorset, Natural Skincare Solutions, where the products are then made to scale, really, with a great team of people.
Amazing. And are you in any stores?
We are in independent retailers, a couple of them in the UK. So Nature's Corner is one of them. These are a great bunch of people, a health store in Newbury here, who actually made the trip back to Africa with us in November last year to go and actually live the source to jar story to meet our SN women, which is phenomenal. I think one of our biggest outlets and how we've been able to reach out to a lot of people, we're on the shopping channel here in the UK, shopping channel called TJC, appearing about once a month and having access to a lot of viewers and interacting with them, people with skincare issues are looking for just an amazing moisturizer for their skin. And we're looking to expand. We're getting great support from the Department of International Trade here in the UK and the Commonwealth Enterprise and Investment Council. We launched into the African market last month as well. So I think the sky is our limit. We're, of course, looking to get stocked in high-end stores. We see ourselves as a luxury product. So, yeah, watch this space.
Wow, that's exciting. Congratulations on being on TV and launching it into the African market. That's so exciting. Did you get a chance to go check out the Indie Beauty Expo? I think they just did the European one.
Yes, we didn't make it to the Indie Beauty Expo. We were in Africa majority at the end of March, and then we went to the Natural Organic Show April. So it's been all systems go for us, really. But we're hoping to make
Cool.
that next year.
And what are you looking forward to? Do you have other events or things coming up that you want to announce or give people a little secret tip on?
Well, I think it's more about, keep an eye out for, launching of new lines that we have. And, from our social media platform, we will be kind of putting out there where we would be. We're going to be at the Newbury Festival or Feast, actually, next week, Sunday, I think it is. We're invited by our great friends from Nature's Corner. So we'll be there next week, Sunday, pretty much all day here in the UK. And we'll hopefully be back at the Beauty West Africa and end of this year back in Africa again because we didn't realize how huge a market that is for us. And looking at the US as well, the States and in Canada are areas where we realize that natural, organic, vegan, cruelty-free are really appreciated. So we're actually working with our partners in the US to try and penetrate that market properly.
Okay. And are there any things that you said, like, absolutely not, we're not going to put this in our products, like from the get go? And things like, and then what's the biggest challenge been for you in all of this?
That's an excellent question, Cassandra. I think right from the get-go, I wanted to have a skincare line, and people thought I was a bit crazy, that really didn't have any chemicals, any preservatives, the same things that you see, no parabens, etc. But I genuinely wanted something that, it might sound a bit silly, that people could pick up a jar and actually understand what they're reading, and not have 20 ingredients that they're trying to figure out what it is. So made up my mind from day one to make it as easy and as simple. Of course, the challenges that we face was that without preservatives, and some of these things are food, you run the risk of actually having them go off, particularly our scrubs, where our scrubs actually have no preservatives. We've tried to put in their essential oils that actually have natural preservative properties. But the true fact is, if they come in contact, they have no water in them. So if you leave water in one of your scrubs, it will go off. And people have said, well, you should put chemicals and preservatives in, even in small quantities, to preserve it. And I'm like, no. And we want to stand by that ethos, that belief. Because, like I said before, largest organ in our body, with everything happening on our planet right now, and with different diseases, we're exposed to so much that we refuse to compromise on that.
That's great. I love that about your brand and your outlook on, what you want in products to especially put on your children. And I think it's so important. And I'm so glad we found each other on Instagram. That seems to be the place that I connect with so many of these awesome brands from overseas that aren't in like all of the credos and all the detox market and stuff. I love finding the smaller indie brands that are underrepresented that I know are going to do very well. And so I'm glad I found you early on, to introduce to all the Clean Beauty listeners. So if there's one thing you could leave with people, whether they buy your product or they're out looking for another, um, balm or some sort of product for their children or themselves that they're suffering from eczema, like other than the Shea Butter, like is there anything like a word of advice that you might want to give them, or things that you tried that really just didn't work at all? Maybe save them some time when looking for things. And I know it seems like you almost avoided medicine, or like you didn't want to use, you said you use some steroids, but is there other things that you were like, absolutely not, I'm not using this on my son? And like, I don't know, just some insight into maybe give some others some hope.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to say, like I said in the beginning, that I'm a pharmacist. I understand the value of medicines in our life and chemicals in our lives in terms of treatment. And I've worked to bring, been a contributor to bringing miracle medicines to patients. So I understand the value of that. And we have different skin, and skin has different issues. So different things will work for different people. One thing I would say to people is knowledge is power. Knowledge is power in the sense of know what you're putting on your skin. Know exactly what you're putting on your skin. Because for me, I think that people go out there, they go by the scent of something or they go by how it looks. But actually taking the time to understand and know your ingredients. If you're putting something on your skin or on your children's skin, what does it contain? It's all great saying, oh, I want to be green or I want to have natural products, but just make sure that you understand what's in them. And that really did help me a lot. And I don't want to say don't use X or don't use Y, because X could work for somebody else, and not work for another person. What I would say is a big takeaway is please, please know your ingredients. And if you're really true to being kind to our planet, and being one with nature and being green, avoid the preservatives and the chemicals in products.
That's great. I love that. And, I know fragrance is a huge one. So, for everyone out there, she is using these natural essential oils. And that is a great way to get amazing scents without having some hundreds of unknown ingredients inside of that one single word. But thank you so much for being on and sharing and taking the time to step away from your amazing skincare company and coming on the podcast. Let everybody know where they can find you and get a hold of you the quickest.
Sure. Cassandra, just wanted to say thank you so much. It's not very often like companies like ourselves, like you say, indie brands get the sort of exposure and things like that. So really, really appreciate it. We are on all the social media platforms, or most of them anyway. We're on Facebook. Just type in Naturally Tribal. We're on Instagram at Naturally Tribal. We're on Twitter. We're on LinkedIn. I am accessible as well. Contact us in that info box, info@naturallytribalgroup.com. And the great thing about being a small company is I'm able to personally respond to people. I'm passionate about what I do. So yeah, please feel free to get in contact.
Okay, well, thank you again, and you are so welcome. And I can't wait for this to blow up, and I can't wait to see you all over the world. And I hopefully I'm going to meet you sometime. I used to live in the UK, and I come back from time to time. And if you're ever in California, you better call me.
I most certainly will. And if you're over here, do get in touch too.
All right, thanks again, and we'll talk soon.
Thanks, Cassandra.
All right, so that's it for this week's episode on the Clean Beauty Podcast. Thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to head over to iTunes to review, rate, and subscribe to the channel. Until next week, stay beautiful.